Info dump or don't say a word. Move my head around like a startled bird. Can't do housework when I choose. When I win, I convince myself I lose. Fabric feels weird against my skin. I gotta hold my breath when I take out the bin. Can't go out cause it's too hot and bright. I can't sleep at night cause there's too much light. The bees in my brain won't let me speak. My thought process is quite unique. The mask comes off and now I'm weird. Everything is as I feared. Living in this world can be quite a chore. We've all had enough, but we still want more. Leave me alone. I don't want interference. Hey, not, mate. That's the autistic experience.
Hello and welcome to the Autistic Experience, your one-stop shop podcast for neurodivergent news, commentary, weirdness, Christmas trees, hamsters, and about 3 different shades of the colour red. My name is Kieran, as always joined by Chloe.
Hey.
Hi. New episodes come out every Sunday at midday British time, and you can go follow us on Instagram at The Autistic Experience, so you can have a look at everything we talk about. We put on all sorts of references and everything, so you can go and find what we're talking about and form your own opinions.
It's always good.
So we're gonna just jump right into it. I think straight into home news. We're not messing around today. Well, not yet anyway. There will probably be quite a lot of messing around later on, but we're trying to get a move on because Chloe's got to make some mince pies and time is running short. Let's jump into home news.
Jumped him.
So yeah, home news. Well, at the moment you're making some mince pies.
I am.
And you're doing everything from scratch.
I am.
And how's that going for you?
The regret. That's how it's going. Regret. Well, the reason is that there's a lot of people, yourself included, that are close to me that do not like mince pies. I do, personally. So I thought, how about we have a hunt and see if we can find a recipe for mince pies that would maybe suit these other people's taste buds. And so I found a cherry one that I've decided to try. So we'll see how it comes out. It's a bit less spicy than you usually get, so it doesn't have the kind of nasty cardamom and things that you don't like.
Well, my question is, how much can you change a mince pie before it stops becoming a mince pie?
Don't know, really. I mean,
like, in order to kind of cater to me, for instance, who does not like mince pies, you change it up to the point where I do like it. Is that a mince pie anymore, or is it just like a fruit pie?
well, I feel like as long as it's got your kind of like dried fruits, because like raisins and currants and things are kind of fundamental to mince pies.
Yeah, but none of those, I don't like any of those.
Yeah, but you might notice they're there.
Oh, I will.
I think if you've got them and you've got at least a little bit of Christmas spice, it still counts as a mince pie. And we've got nutmeg, so just nutmeg and a bit of cinnamon. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll get back to you on whether or not Kieran eats my mince pie.
Well, I said I'd try it.
We'll do a review next time. Next episode, mince pie review. Tune in. Have I conquered Kieran's taste buds? But what else? Well, I mean, I'd say we're going to visit family for Christmas. As well, on the day that this is out, we will be travelling.
We will be driving. Toot toot.
Driving home for Christmas.
Driving home before Christmas,
yeah.
even.
Driving home for the week before Christmas. But it means that we've been doing various shoppings and things over the last week as well, haven't we?
Yeah, it's weird having to try and get that stuff early. I mean, I think I tend to get presents fairly early anyway. It's just that for some reason this year has kind of snuck up on us.
Yeah. I mean, I'm usually quite stressy about present buying, and I panic like 3 months in advance that I haven't got anything yet. But this year I've been a bit relaxed on it. I hadn't really got anything until like last week, and even then I was thinking, oh, I can't be bothered. I'm just not going to get anything. Felt like a lot to think about, you know, which I think is, as we've mentioned in our gift purchasing guide last week, I think that buying presents for people can be quite a chore for the brain.
Yeah, it can.
The trouble I have is that you don't really need much, because if you need anything, you just get it. So thinking of ideas for you that aren't just kind of cluttery, pointless, you know, items can be hard. But then there's also my mom, who doesn't really like anything other than kind of going out. So she's really hard to buy for.
Nothing but booze.
Yeah, because I'm like, I don't know what to get for you that could be vaguely useful, because you don't want anything. You don't like. There's no hobbies or anything I can sort of jump on.
Useful things are wasted on people that won't use them.
Yeah, that's it. And it's just trying to find useful things for people that don't do anything.
Yeah.
My sister, however, is the easiest person in the world to buy for.
Yeah, because she sends you a full list.
She sends lists of like 30 odd options, and you can just pick whatever's in a reasonable price range from that list.
I still think a spreadsheet would be much easier to do, rather than just a long list of web links.
I'll tell her to do a spreadsheet.
I used to, not quite a spreadsheet, but I used to do like a Christmas wish list, and same with birthdays, sort of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it would have, like, you know, the name of the thing, where it could be bought, like how much it was.
I play.
Just on a bit of paper. And for the most part, this was back in the years when you would get an Argos catalogue and just kind of circle the things you want.
Good
so,
old days.
you know, a fair amount of them, the ideas were from Argos, so I could just, you know, do like the name, cost, where you get it from, page number in the Argos catalogue, if applicable. I mean, in retrospect, I think providing what is effectively a spreadsheet when you're about 6 years old is quite a strong sign of being autistic.
Yeah, probably. Anyway. What else have we done this week?
Well, I think the main one for me is that I've started a new job.
Yes.
This week.
You have.
And I'm tired.
Welcome back to the world of work. But it sounds like it's good.
Seems pretty good so far.
Yeah, it sounds good. I don't know if you want to talk about it much.
Nah, it's all right. This isn't the job podcast. This is the looking at news stories. So I think we can probably...
On to actual news.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, let's move on to look at some of the news stories about or written by neurodivergent folk which have piqued our interest this week. So, suitably enough, the first story we're going to be having a look at, or the first article we're going to be having a look at today,
we're going to be looking at this article.
Yes, we are. It's on psychologytoday.com, and it was published on the 4th of December, and it's called How to Find a Career That Fits Your ADHD Brain. So it's rather appropriate for...
Yes, it is.
For the zeitgeist of this household. Ooh. Zeitgeist is... It's a great word, but it's not a very good Scrabble score.
Is it not?
No, because Z scores 10, the G scores 2, everything else is a 1. It's incredibly boring.
It is. Disappointing. Sounds like it's better.
Good word. It's got a double EI, so it breaks that rule twice.
I before E, except after C and
or
Z
a Z and a
G.
Well, that's them zany Germans with their language, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, this ADHD thing.
Yeah.
So, you found this one particularly insightful, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I liked this. I liked this one a lot.
Just in case we don't necessarily cover this article and what it actually says in the minutest of details, you can go and check out our Instagram page at The Autistic Experience to go and find it yourself and have a read so you kind of understand the context of what we're talking about. If you feel our explanations are not sufficient, which is possible.
Yes. So this little number is some advice about how to find a career that suits your ADHD brain. Now, I personally have had a hell of a lot of trouble with work. I found it so hard to pick jobs that I like. I found it hard to stay in jobs. And yeah, it's just been a pain. Like, I find myself getting sick of things quite quickly. And yeah, so I can see how finding careers with ADHD brains is difficult.
Yeah.
And I thought that quite a lot of this article sort of mentioned things that I've thought about in the past or that have helped me as well. So it's sort of said about here, it says you might find a pressure to earn a certain amount of money. So as you know, as somebody who did a science degree, I think everybody expected me to go into science, which is, you know, can be relatively high earning. But I couldn't get into it, and in the end I just kind of didn't want to. But I think I felt that kind of need to use the degree and earn high because I was a university graduate with a first class degree and blah blah blah, you know. So I get that. But the tips that it kind of mentioned that I really like are things like, it says research has shown a link between job control, so it says what you do and how you do it, and social support as key factors in creating effective work environments for people with ADHD. And I kind of didn't realise until recently that I think being in a job where I feel like I'm in control of it suits me so much more than if I don't feel in control, which I think would make sense for an ADHD brain because it feels more structured. You kind of know what's going on. It's less unpredictable, you know?
Yeah.
Because like you feel like you're leading it. So you don't have to kind of rely on other people and guess what other people are kind of doing. So I've never really got on with sort of like, you know, retail or kind of customer service stuff because you kind of have to bend to, you know, the whim of every other customer that you serve, and you never know what you're going to have to deal with, and it's just a bit kind of, you know, not very engaging. But it sort of says that you should think about maybe what sort of things grab your attention, what sort of things you can focus on, you know, hobbies and stuff that you enjoy doing when you're not working. And I think that's quite helpful really for finding just an industry that suits your brain better. I personally enjoy feeling like I am getting something out of being at work, which is why I like working in kind of activities and stuff, because I'm also doing something, you know. That's what I enjoy. I enjoy physical stuff. I enjoy like being active and busy. And I've only kind of realised that from experimenting, which it does say to do. It says to experiment and things as well. So I just found it quite relatable, and a lot of it I have found useful in my own life. So I think if it's something that, you know, you're struggling with, if you can't find a job that you can stick with, or you don't know where to go with work, I would have a proper good read and think about this article and try and do what it says, because it is useful.
Well, that said, it is a bit of a long read. Like I get part way down and my brain just goes, is it still going?
I think some of it you don't really need to sort of properly read. You can just kind of pick out bits. So the kind of checklist of how to identify a good career fit is good. And then it mentions as well in one paragraph about just reinforcing kind of positivity in yourself as well, which is quite handy. It's a bit later on, that is. But yeah, it is quite long. I think I relate to this, and it's an issue that I've struggled with. So reading it is quite interesting.
But of course, if you fancy a read of it yourself, then you can go onto our Instagram page at The Autistic Experience to find the reference we've handily put on there for you. So let's move on to the next story for this week. So this one was actually put up on the BBC, and good news if you live in North Yorkshire, which is not something that gets said too often. If you live in North Yorkshire, then you get your very own opportunity to shout at your local council, because the North Yorkshire Council has drafted its all-age autism strategy and are doing some consultations over the next couple of months to get feedback. I've got to assume that's what it's for. So it's a consultation using online and paper surveys, online webinars, and visits to disability and older people forums. The aim is their final draft strategy will be considered in 2024. So, as I said, I think the idea is that you can go along to these and help your local council if you live in North Yorkshire. Kind of fine tune their autism strategy, which will, directly affect you. So if you're in that kind of direction, then it's probably a good idea to go along to one of these and share your thoughts.
Yeah, and you can do it online as well, so you don't even have to talk to anybody.
Yeah, ideal. Running through the dates which are left, there's one on the 18th of December at Harrogate Civic Centre, 9th of January in Richmond, 1st of February in Northallerton, 9th of February in Selby, 28th of February in Moulton, and the 7th of March in Scarborough. They are in actual buildings, not just the towns. I've just shortened it a little bit. But yeah, go have a look on this article for details. Otherwise, you can probably have a look at North Yorkshire Council's website. They probably have some information somewhere relevant to this. But I think, if this is something they're kind of actually going to be putting into there and you can have any sort of say in it, then I think you probably should.
Yeah, definitely. I think more places should probably do this as well.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure quite a few places are. It just takes a while to get anything done. But I'm sure we'll find out the results of that at some point in the far-flung future. But you know what isn't in the far-flung future?
What?
The next story we're going to talk about.
Whoa.
Segue. Yeah. Segue. All right, so the last article we're going to be talking about today was published on the 6th of December on aboutmanchester.co.uk. It's entitled Manchester Youth Charities Launching New Funding for Disabled and Neurodivergent Young People's Projects. Oh, that's a mouthful. So, this is a combined effort of a few different charities in addition to various Manchester City Councils to put forward £25,000 towards groups which are led by disabled and neurodivergent young people to design and deliver what they call social action projects across the city. I don't know what social action projects means.
No, not exactly. But I think I got the impression that it's kind of up to the people that are leading the things.
Like it says, any groups led by disabled and neurodivergent young people can apply for grants ranging from £500 to £3,000.
Right.
So I guess anything that counts as a social change project is viable. So, I don't know, protesting? You can get some new signs.
Protest.
Social change. That's social change, right?
Let's have a look. Yeah, well, it says on Young Manchester's actual website that it's all about kind of young people speaking out and working to change things that affect them, basically. So, I mean, protests might come under that, but it says youth-led social action is when young people work together to make a positive change to a problem they care about. And youth voice is when they have a say about things that are important to them and affect their lives. And adults listen to them.
So I think that's just vague enough that you can probably get away with anything.
Yeah.
So if you in the Manchester area and you have a group led by disabled or neurodivergent people, then you can probably get a grant for something.
I mean, if you've got something that you think might be eligible, then check it out and have a look for maybe some more details, or get in touch with them and see if it is, because they'll know better than us.
Oh, yeah. Without a shadow of a doubt. But I think that's enough talking about stuff that's already happened. Let's talk about something that's currently happening in the way of Question of the Week. Now, we skipped this bit last week because we were doing presents, but we're back on it, delving into the minds of Reddit and finding out some glistening problems to bash with hammers of help.
And refine into tools
that you can use in your life.
Yes.
There we go. We got there in the end.
Exactly.
Now, I found this one specifically for you.
Yeah, I figured.
So it says, a new manager started at work and she has the same name as me. I hate saying my own name. How can I get around this? There is a little bit of extra text underneath, but like...
You don't really need to know. That's it. I don't really.
That's the important bit. Well, so you don't like saying your own name.
No, I don't.
I don't really like saying my own name, but not to the same level as you.
Yeah, I think it sounds weird, and when I say it, I kind of actively feel strange about it. Like, I really don't like it. I mean, I'm not as bad if I'm picking up a parcel or something, because I've been asked for it. But I don't know. It's, generally, I don't like saying my name. And I don't know why. I mean, if it's your own name, then it's quite easy to avoid. But if you're addressing somebody who has the same name as you, then... I don't know. Like, do you have any answers for this one? Any ideas?
I think just because of my name being the way it is, that there are quite a few different spellings.
Yeah.
And if the person has a different spelling, then in my brain it's like, oh, it's a different name.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really have an issue with that. If it is the exact same spelling, then I can't say I've come across that much. But I think we could try and logic our way into it by saying that because it is the same name, but it's not your name. If you're trying to address someone else, it is their name.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, my go-to answer on this one is just, if you have to address them and use their name, then you can't really work around that, unfortunately. If it's a manager and you've got to use their name and it happens to be the same as yours, then you've kind of just got to use it. And I'm sure that you won't have to use their name all the time. So it's kind of maybe just that bit of discomfort that you get from saying your name.
Yeah, I mean, there may be a workaround depending on what the name actually is, because there might be a shortened version of it you can use.
Yeah.
So some people in the comments were suggesting, like, just call them like other things. Well, I mean, if it was a guy, it would be like, "Hey man." But if it's a woman, and it is in this case, you can't exactly go, "Hey woman."
Hey woman.
That sounds like not quite as good.
Yeah, especially if you're addressing a manager.
Yeah.
Well, I just thought of something actually that might be useful.
Oh yeah.
I have this issue, and it's not saying my name thing, but it's I don't know what to address other people as. And they're probably going to hear about this now because they listen to this, but I do not know how to address your parents. I feel weird calling them by their first name, but I also can't call them mum or dad. And so I just kind of look at them or approach and then just start talking and hope that they gather that I'm talking to them. I would say that if you really don't want to say the name and you really don't know how to address the person, then just make it obvious that you're talking to them and just say, hey, or, oh, sorry, can I just ask you a question? Like, you don't have to use a name at all.
Yeah, well, that's fair. Although I have just thought of a very easy workaround that works in all things. Just call them boss.
Hello, boss.
Because, like, it's, like, factually accurate.
Yeah.
People like being called boss because it makes them feel powerful.
Yeah.
And it's not overly formal. So
That's
it's not like you're going, Madam, may I trouble you for a word?
A boss man.
Or boss lady.
A boss woman. So does that mean if it works in all situations then that I have to call your mum and dad boss?
I mean, you can do.
A boss. I've genuinely thought about, I don't know what to call them, and I'm like, your mum, you've said just call them by their first name. I'm like, I can't. Should I call them like Mr. and Mrs. Davis or like...
No.
I don't know what to call them. Mrs.
Bearing in mind, they both have extensive careers as teachers.
Yeah.
Whilst they are used to being called that, not by people in their mid-20s. Anyway, what were oh yeah, there was the advice thing. That's the one we were on. Whoops.
My technique is don't use names, just make it really obvious that you're talking to that person.
Yeah.
And that is all.
Well, my technique is not talking to people.
Yeah, it's true. But if you have to, then
yeah,
go stand right in front of him and just be like, excuse me, or hi.
Hey, boss lady.
Yeah, you can just say hey, and that starts the conversation. And that's it. Boss lady.
Boss lady.
I'm going to call your mum boss lady now.
Anyway, I think that's enough advice. Let's move on to having a look at some of the events which are coming up in the UK in the next week. Now, as always, we've kind of just cherry-picked the interesting ones. Some are repeated. They happen like every week, every month, whatnot. We try and find some of the more one-off sort of events just to make things a bit more interesting.
Spicy. Spice it up.
So, this first one is happening tomorrow as this goes out, the 11th of December. In Leeds at the Old Woolen. It's an ADHD AF Christmas Laura, it says, but I
think it's like Christmas full stop.
No, it's on the picture it's got an ADHD AF Christmas and then Carol is crossed out and written as Laura.
Oh, I see. It makes sense.
It makes sense with the picture, but not written down.
No.
So yeah, this is happening at the Old Woolen at 6 o'clock. It's £12.50 plus a booking fee. Doors open at 6, starts at 7. And it says, come along for the usual ADHD AF celebration of too muchness, prizes, surprises, and musical interludes to unite the community at what can be a triggering time for so many of us. So it says, expect loud music, strong language, tears, laughter, tears of laughter, ADHD information, camaraderie, and festive feels and ridiculousness.
Sounds quite good, I think.
So yeah, if you've got nothing on tomorrow as this goes out, then pop along over to Leeds.
Leeds.
I can't not say it that way.
Leeds.
Then on Wednesday the 13th at Buxton Opera House. So Buxton, you know that they do the water.
Yeah, the water people.
The water people. It's an autism-friendly performance of Cinderella.
I liked the look of this. We love a bit of Cinderella.
So, rather awkwardly, you got to phone the box office to book thing for the autism-friendly performance. But I assume that's just asking about any extra needs you may have.
My extra needs are not using the phone to communicate.
Yeah, I know. It's not an ideal situation. But yeah, that's happening. It's at 5:30 in the evening, and tickets are £12 for the autism-friendly performance, which I think, that's why that's probably why they want you to phone, because it's slightly cheaper than the regular one.
Oh.
And it says one essential companion is free.
Oh. So you can get your essential companion to phone for you then.
Yeah. That's why they're essential. They do the phone calls.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that's happening on Wednesday. Meanwhile, on Thursday the 14th, we're back to our old friends at Autism West Midlands.
Yeah, it's this one. I was waiting for this one.
So,
do you want me to read this one?
Yeah. So if you're living in the Black Country and you have a Black Country postcode and you're in the process of getting an autism diagnosis or already have one, then you can go along to this, which is a... Chloe?
Translated into the local dialect.
Yep.
Wolverhampton Wanderers Stadium and Museum Tour for autistic adults.
That's the one, yeah.
This is a great opportunity to join. If you're in the West Midlands.
So basically, starting at 1:45 in the afternoon, going until 3. It's free to go to, but as per normal, you have to get in contact with them. So just check out autismwestmidlands.org.uk. But yeah, it's a stadium tour, having a look at the museum. If you're in any way interested in football, then it could be quite an interesting thing to go to.
Wolves. I never liked wolves. I don't know why.
What, as an animal or as a
football team?
As a football team. So that's all the events we've cherry-picked for you coming up in the next week. If you've missed any of that information or want it written down somewhere, then good news. You can go to our Instagram page at The Autistic Experience to go and find all of that information, plus information on the articles we've talked about. Most of it has been spent talking about unrelated things entirely.
So we go all the time.
Yeah. This is actually very structured compared to our normal conversations.
It is. Mainly because we've got mince pies
we do,
in the horizon.
Yeah, so we got to go off and go do some mince pies now. So thank you for joining us this week. Hopefully we'll try and get another episode out next week. But as I said, we are travelling again next week, so might be a bit difficult to figure out, but we'll try.
Yeah, we'll figure something
out. We'll get back to you. But yeah, in the meantime, if you fancy leaving us a nice rating review on whatever podcast platform you happen to be listening on at this moment in time, then that will be most appreciated. But until next week, you go get that free mince pie.
Hey.
If it's offered, if you like mince pie.